Wael Ghonim, welcome to Aslan Media. Your book, Revolution 2.0, has just been released. It's our February Book of the Month pick. And we wanted to just spend a few minutes asking you a couple of questions about it. First of all, what made you decide to write a book in the first place?
Well, the first reason is basically I wanted to share my experience. I've seen a lot of attention coming, from the world to me as a person, and some considered me the hero or the face, which to a large extent is not true. I wanted to tell everybody the real deal, the real story, and through that I hope people would be inspired to understand that it's pretty easy actually to use the tools and try and promote a good cause or call for an action. And the second reason is that because I think this was a leaderless movement, and there wasn't a single point that got all these. There was not a focal point that knew exactly what was happening. So I was doing my part of telling the whole behind-the-scenes story of my own experience, hoping that others also would do, so that at the end of the day we have a complete picture of what exactly happened during and before the revolution. And finally, I just hope that this sends a clear message of who are the true Arabs, who are the true Egyptians, who are the true Muslims. The masses who went to the streets are the ones who represent Islam and the Arab nation, as well as Egyptians, and not just the very few that you would see creating problems around the world.
Is the book going to be available in an Arabic translation?
Yeah, it is. Actually, I wrote it in Arabic to start with, and then it was translated to English. Probably I should not have said that.
No, it's great. And has it been published in Egypt? Have people read it? And what's been the response there?
It was just published a few days ago, and because of the recent events, I don't think people, people are in action. And in fact, I'm only here, I decided to come just to honor my commitments to you and many others who've thankfully agreed to host me and during the book tour. But the situation in Egypt is very tense, and many people are focusing on what is happening now, and they're not interested that much to read the history.
Well, let's talk about what's happening now. How do you see the conflict that's becoming more and more apparent between the people and the military in Egypt? Where do you think that conflict is going to go?
I just think that it's an important time that we should stop discussing what is happening, and we should start talking about what should happen. And this was one of the shortcomings of what happened throughout the past 12 months. We've been very reactive to events and incidents, and we weren't just having, trying to shape a view of what should happen and how we all unite each other. We all unite to make it happen, and that was the spirit on the 18 days of Mubarak. And I think what is critical at the moment is we make sure that the presidential election happens. So the executive power is also transferred to civilians who were elected by the people, and then we write the constitution under a civilian rule, which is basically marking the end of 60 years of military rule in Egypt.
And do you trust that SCAF, the military leadership, will actually stay true to that commitment?
I do trust the Egyptian people, and I believe that I've seen enough brave Egyptians that showed a great deal of sacrifice and courage and belief in what they were doing, and I think these people are not going to let the dream go wrong or go in the wrong direction. And there are news now that they are basically starting the presidential elections sooner than it was planned, and it's a matter of a few months that we will have the answer. What I know is I'm going to work and do my best with my colleagues just to make sure that Egypt before January 25th is not going to be reproduced in any form or shape for Egypt after January 25th.
So you feel fairly optimistic about the transition to a democracy?
Yeah, oddly enough, I do. I know there are a lot of views about what was happening, and you can always see the revolution from different perspectives, and I tend to believe that it's time to celebrate we've done an amazing job in the past 12 months. There are lots of disappointments. People have died. There are many, I would say, crimes per se. Yet the amount of achievements we have achieved in the past 12 months was something that none of the Egyptians have imagined. I think no one in the world have imagined that it would happen in 12 months. So while being involved in the day-to-day events, while being distracted by what's happening, and by also, you know, getting frustrated from the pace of change, we have to be very, you know, we have to have a helicopter view and believe in what we have achieved, and be optimistic, because you know, you're not gonna change this country to a brighter future when you think that we are doomed. We need to be optimistic.
And then finally, what do you hope that Americans will get from this book?
I think, as I just mentioned at the very beginning, I hope the story, not the person, because it's more about the cause. When you read the book, you'll understand that it has nothing to do with the person. It's more about the cause and how people relate to it. I hope it would be inspiring for them to do good things, just like how the experience I went through. And I also hope that they probably learn. I've developed a lot of skills through the period, you know, the months since I started the page, and I basically wrote all of them. And I hope that will be beneficial for the people.
Wael Ghonim, shukran jazilan. Thank you very much.
Alaf.